Hey everyone! So today I thought I'd take some time to do a little reintroduction because there are a lot of new faces here and honestly it's been a long time. So welcome to Innate Fertility. I'm going to explain a little bit what Innate Fertility is all about as well as how to navigate the information on my page. So welcome to all the new faces here, and if you've been around for a while, you know how much I appreciate you and care about you, and I love you so much. So thanks for being here. My name is Lauren Sophia, and I'm the owner of Innate Fertility. And I really am so excited to have you here because, as you may have noticed, I actually changed my name recently. And that is for two reasons. One being that I'm not only focused on nutrition. So the previous name that I had nutrition in the name, and that's true. I do care a lot about nutrition. But as a certified prenatal and postnatal coach, my work does revolve a lot around nutrition, but it does not only focus on nutrition. It focuses on lifestyle and movement, and my students and clients know this as well. It's never been just about nutrition. So expect to see more of this expertise on my page, and that is going to provide more of the 360 wellness that I do offer and do educate on. So definitely super excited to share more about that. And the other reason is I'm not only focused on preconception. So many of you may know me as a preconception specialist, which I definitely am, and my work has revolved around this for quite a while. But my preconception students and clients get pregnant, and I support them through pregnancy and postpartum and beyond. And I also help other women through their issues during preconception, like PCOS, like hypothyroidism. And so these are all really important issues that I want to make sure are accurately represented. So welcome to Innate Fertility. My mission, so what I'm all about here is empowering women and men, hint, hint, in putting their best foot forward, entering life's most special moments and phases like pregnancy, like postpartum, like parenthood. So I really want to help empower men and women to bring their best selves through these different phases, to these phases and beyond, because how we enter these different phases has the ability to influence our health in the future, but also our children's health and their children's health. And so these are monumental phases that have the ability to become catalysts for not only our own health, our current, now, and present, but our future, our children's future, and their children's future. So super, super meta, but I do think that health starts before conception, and that's why my focus has been on preconception, but there's still so much that we can influence throughout pregnancy, postpartum, to create and foster and cultivate health abundance in life in general and create thriving health, thriving fertility, thriving wellness. So this is what I'm all about at Innate Fertility, and I do this by combining traditional wisdom, ancestral wisdom, with bioenergetics, pro-metabolic principles, and bioindividuality. And everything that I teach and do is rooted in a deep understanding of human physiology. One other thing too is that you may hear some things that you've never heard before, or that are unconventional, or that might challenge your beliefs, and that's okay. That's how we learn and grow. And so what I would encourage you to do as you take information in from my page is to always keep an open mind and to absolutely research even more deeply, especially the things that spark your curiosity. So how did I get here? So my journey to self-healing truly began in my early 20s when I adopted a vegan diet. And I adopted it for various reasons, morality, environmental, health reasons. And I thought it was the diet that would help me be the best version of myself. And as I'm sharing this, keep in mind that it's not a statement on any kind of diet. I'm just sharing my personal experience. So that said, within the first few months, I lost my period completely. I also was completely skeletal. I lost a really large amount of weight very, very quickly. My body was starving for nourishment, and I didn't put this together, but until much later, but around, very shortly after my vegan diet began, I started binge eating, which turned into binge exercising as punishment. There was a lot of guilt around losing control, and I repeated this cycle for a couple of years, and it took me a while to crawl out of that hole. I was in that hole for a very long time. It took a toll on my mental health, my body, but I did eventually crawl out of it. And I started to incorporate animal products back into my diet. But as I did this, my body did feel rejuvenated. I started to develop adult acne. And I had never experienced acne quite like this before. And it was so angry and so persistent. And back then, and I can say that, but back then there weren't as many resources available at your fingertips. So I turned to the resources that I had, which were my doctors and my friends, and both seemed to encourage birth control. They thought birth control would fix this. So birth control was such an easy prescription to get, and I was on the birth control pill for 8 years. But during this time, I developed a lot of issues, and I've been able to connect them scientifically now to my use of birth control. But while I was on it, I had no idea that it was connected to birth control, and my doctors didn't either. So I developed subclinical hypothyroidism, candida, which is yeast overgrowth, prediabetes, which is super fun, melasma, which is also super fun, and an autoimmune disease. So all of these things and much more. There were other symptoms too, but these were like the most pronounced. And when my acne started to come back at the tail end of my use of birth control, I was like, why am I still on this pill? I don't want to be on medications. Let me look into coming off of it. So I did that, and I came off of it. But then my health kind of fell apart again. So my hair started falling out in droves. My face exploded, and I had major brain fog, fatigue, so many things. And this is actually what I was experiencing is called post-birth control syndrome. It's a term coined by Dr. Jolene Brighton, which thank God for her. But when I was experiencing this, I was like, okay, what's going on? So I went back to my doctors, and I was like, this is what's happening. I went back to my primary care doctor, my OBGYN, and my dermatologist, and none of them could give me solutions. None of them could provide me options other than to get back on the pill or take a different pill that would mess with my hormones. And after that, I was done. I had it. I was completely done. I knew that I had to take my health into my own hands and really start making decisions and changes for myself so that I could solve this problem myself. I was done outsourcing my health, and this was the best decision I could have possibly made for myself, because not only did I heal myself from the issues that I was experiencing pre-birth control, but the issues that were caused by birth control, and I also healed another lifelong issue which I had since I was in the third grade, which was asthma. And so I had been taking steroid inhalers and emergency inhalers for about 20 years, and healing myself in this process, I healed my asthma, which was incredible to have that freedom again. So after I figured out that you could make such progress with nutrition and lifestyle changes, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to help more people find out about this. Why don't more people know about this? I want to help people with this. So I decided to become a functional nutritional therapy practitioner. I have many more certifications since then, but that's how I got. So that's my first foray into the fertility space, and how I got further involved in the preconception, prenatal, pregnancy, postpartum space is I had been working with a lot of women that started to get pregnant, so I needed to support them. Another reason is I was starting to think about starting a family at the same time, and so I wanted to prepare my body, and this really connected to also my mother's experience during her pregnancies. She had 2 very sick pregnancies out of 3. I was a preeclampsia baby, and my youngest brother was also a preeclampsia baby. So she was so sick that he had to be born via C-section 2 months early because neither of them would have survived. So I knew that I wanted to get ahead of these potential issues as well. And so I started to delving into the research there, specific to my potential issues during pregnancy. But the more I dove into the research, the more I realized how profound our mother's health during her pregnancy with us can impact our own health. And it even goes as far back to how her mother's health, our grandmother's health during her pregnancy with our mother can influence our health. And so I knew I wanted to shift even more into the fertility space to help women and men put their best foot forwards going into the sort of amazing phases, the magical phases of pregnancy and parenthood. And really to maximize their own experiences, their health during these times. The more we can prepare, the more we can mitigate complications, the more we can reduce stress, the easier it can be to conceive. And these can all make for a much better experience overall, but also to maximize the health of their offspring too, their children, to usher in a healthier generation and healthier next generation after that. And so I knew that I really wanted to be part of this, even though, I don't think that it's a thing. It's just a thing in my head. I want to help people do this for themselves, to have thriving fertility, to have thriving pregnancies, to have thriving postpartum periods, and just experiences that they can look back on and be like, that was amazing. I felt so supported. I felt so healthy. And I feel healthy now because I supported myself through those different phases, because that's also important. How we treat ourselves during these phases, they are taxing. And the more we can invest in our health in these different phases, the more our health in the future will benefit and reap from it. So I hope that helped paint the picture of how Innate Fertility was born. I feel very passionate about all of these topics and about fertility, wellness in general. And if you're looking to learn more about what I'm all about, I'm going to post a couple of my favorite posts where I think you can get started on. They're great foundational posts to kind of understand what I'm all about, my approach, and what I like to focus on. And if you are thinking more about learning or interested in learning more, I guess, there's a couple freebies that you could take advantage of. So I have my free psycholiteracy guide, which teaches you the different phases of your cycle and how to support yourself throughout those different phases. The prenatal primer, which has information about the key nutrients for pregnancy and where to get them, and also a bonus on how to engage your pelvic floor. And then the sperm booster manual, which teaches you natural ways to boost sperm quality. So check those out. And if you are looking to dive deeper, I do have more offerings coming very soon, but my signature course is Conscious Conception, and this is the ultimate fertility blueprint and guide to preparing for pregnancy. And hundreds of women are joining and have to put their best foot forward in one of the most special moments and phases that life has to offer. And I am so honored to be part of so many women's journeys in going from maiden to mother, but also becoming mother X-fold, for a second, third time. And the course has an amazing community of women. We have a private community where we just share so many things and support each other, most importantly of all. And then every month we also have a live Q&A where, we answer all the questions that you possibly have. So if you're interested in diving deeper and you're like, okay, I want to definitely take this into my own hands, but where do I begin? That would be the blueprint that you want. But again, more offerings coming soon. And again, thanks so much for being here. I'm so honored to be part of your journey as well. And stay tuned for more because there's definitely more coming soon. So stay tuned and talk soon.